I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guys Rodney McLeod and Gerard Powers, and we are going to be talking about Week 7 of the NFL. Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans. Guys, huge game. We talk about this. Coaches, players talk about that next game's the most important one. This literally may be the most important one, period, with the rest of the season being, the fact that they lead the division and they're a divisional rival. We already lost to them. It's Week 7. This is a huge, huge game, Gerard. What's your initial thoughts about it?
It's kind of not necessarily the game. It's kind of crazy that this is our second time already playing the Titans. We already played Jacksonville twice, and we only got the Texans far as another division game outside of this last one. So it's kind of crazy to think we got so much football left, but yet only two in-house games, if that makes sense. So it puts the importance on this game even more because, you win this one and knowing you only got one left, you don't want to have to rely on another team to lose or anything. You want to kind of have your season fate in your own hands. You don't want to be waiting at the end of the year for this team to lose or that team to lose to get in. So we know that, in winning this game with Titans already winning one of them, we have to win this game to put ourselves in position to win the division to make sure that we can get into the playoffs and do all those type of things. But it's very important. Rival game, like you noticed. Rodney knows exactly the plays that they're going to run. Tennessee knows exactly the plays that we're going to run. And it's just a matter of who's going to execute the best. I think my take on it is just like it was the first game. Whoever stops the run is going to win that game. And the last time we played them, obviously, we didn't stop the run like we should have. Derrick Henry had a pretty good game, and they end up being victorious. So it's going to be another huge challenge for us. I think we're up for the challenge. I think we are a different team compared to the last time we faced those guys. I mean, we're coming off back-to-back wins. We got a lot of momentum. It's confidence in the building. Offense is playing better. So it's going to be one of those games, again, to where you're going to have to put on your boxing gloves, and it's going to be a slugfest at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Rodney, hey, man, this will be weird. 5 divisional games in the first 7 weeks. Has that ever happened to you in your career?
No, it hasn't. Normally, you might have some spurts of division games, and then, the way the league sets it up nowadays is they like to see a lot of those division games on the back end, when everybody's kind of playing their best. It matters. There's playoff implications at hand, at state. So I feel like they do a very good job at how they set up this schedule. I'm always interested to see, and especially me being in Philly for the past 6 years, like there is always a guarantee we're playing those teams down the stretch. We may have started, the season off 4-7, but somehow we have a run of division opponents on that back end, that stretch, man. And like I've seen us walk away and be able to win those division games to go into the playoffs. But now, coming into this year, it was imperative that we get off to a good start. And I know in the past, the Colts, we haven't. And we kind of started things off a little slow this year too, but now we're starting to hit our shot at the right time, right? And I talked about it. It is like that playoff mode. It's in the beginning of the year. We're at that Week 7 mark, but you win this, you're in control of your own destiny, like Gerard said. And so we have to understand what's at stake. It's hostile territory. We're going on the road, man, with one mission and one thing on our mind, and that's win. And like I said, we don't care how we get it done. It's just find a way and what I'm saying, come away with this win, end up with first place in the division, and let's move forward and take care of business for the rest of the way.
Guys, BetOnline is back and remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. As your continued source for all sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like Major League Baseball, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts. All right. So it's kind of odd. The only game that we'll have left in the division will be Week 18 against the Texans. Week 17. I remember when the schedule dropped, and I was like, "Boy, the last two games of the year is going to be cakewalk. It's the Giants and the Texans." And now you go look at the Giants, and you're like, "Crap, that might be our toughest game." So we got. I'm going to tell you right now, Rodney. I love the Indianapolis Colts, but if we play the exact same way against the run against Derrick Henry, the way we played against Jacksonville, it ain't going to be 230 plus. It's going to be 400 plus. All right. So how are we looking at this walking into this? How important is getting Derrick Henry on the ground now?
It's huge. We got to take a look back at that first game to see what worked, what we didn't do well, which we have done. And I think we've corrected a lot of those issues. But knowing what we put on tape last week, they're going to look at that and look to try and replicate that in their own way, using some of the plays that were effective versus us with the Jaguars, but also what worked the first time around. And so we're going to have to make sure that we are gap sound, we execute at a high level. That's what it all comes down to. It's execution in the moment, right? And we have to find a way to start fast. We have to limit them, obviously, to minimal gains on the run. Get after Tannehill in the passing game. Blanket those receivers up. We know everything is built off of the run, play action effect. But we have to control 22. When you look back at the first game, I think he had 150 yards in the first half. He was effective in the screen game. And the plays that have hurt us have been screens, obviously last week in the run as well. So we're going to have our hands full. But I feel confident in our group where we are right now. We're going to get those things fixed and corrected and go into Tennessee, man, ready to execute, ready to play our best ball and walk away with a win.
Drug, is there anything?
Man, you kind of answered the question I was going to ask you. Everybody kind of focuses. I mean, it's every week with Derrick Henry. Every game he plays, he knows he's going to be the focus. He knows I guess the challenge that he's going to be facing with 8 in the box, 9 in the box, trying to stop the run. How difficult is it as a defender for you guys to kind of stay focused on the pass? Because when you watch the Titans now, it seems like the passing game is starting to come along for them. Everybody knew that their strongest point was their run game. Their weakest point was their pass. But then you cut on the film. Now Robert Woods is making more catches. Tannehill is throwing it, better from within the pocket. How important it is for a secondary to make sure they're reading their keys, playing pass first, and making sure they're sound on that back end. Because when you get kind of too caught up in the run, like you said, you'll give up a play or two just because your eyes are on 22 and not where they're supposed to be. So how important is that as a secondary defender to making sure your eyes are in the right spots so you can get those reads, whether it's run or pass?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, it's a very important part of the game. It's day one fundamentals, right? Good eyes, good technique, good fundamentals, and you have to bring that to every stadium, that you enter on Sundays. And so that is going to be key for us. And you talk about eye control, whether that's eye control on the crack replace, right? Like I talked about, one of the things that we have to do better at, as a secondary, or whether it's, being able to read the difference between run and pass as a post defender, right? Knowing that the run game is an important and effective weapon for Tennessee, but we have to be disciplined in the back end and understand what's at stake and what they like to do off the run game, and making a lot of their runs look very similar to their pass concept. So I think the way that we stop that and we're in control is we do what we need to do up front, is we limit the run game to force them to have to pass the ball, to throw the ball, make the game one dimensional, knowing what Tannehill likes. He likes the passes in the middle of the field. We got to control and protect the paint. You know what I'm saying? He's not as accurate as he is when he throws the ball inside as he is outside. So we have to be able to control the pack the paint, stop the run, and that'll put us in a good position to win the game.
So I got a question. I'd like both of you to answer. You get either or of this question, but it's imperative at times where a defense disguises their coverage perfectly, right? Whether it's trying to show man and actually going into zone, or disguising a blitz or something of that nature, not tipping your hat off to the opposing offense of what you're getting ready to do, because it's a little bit out of the norm, so to speak, sometimes. How difficult is that to not tip your hat at times when you're playing when you're getting, like, let's say for you, Rodney, safety blitz is called, right? And you got to kind of creep up a little bit, but not show, hey, I'm coming.
Well, like, it all depends, to be honest. I mean, I think this is one of those games where you can use, I guess, their strengths, to our advantage, right? Knowing we're going to load the box, you know what I'm saying, at times to stop that run game. A lot of what we do is kind of shown from that eight-man front. So at the end of the day, everything is about timing. Everything is about being able to see what type of indicators, formations they line up in, to be able to also give you a better chance at disguise. Sometimes, as Gerard knows, man, like, they're in these condensed formations. You can't disguise. Yeah. You got to get down, get ready to rock. There's other opportunities that we'll be given where we got to take advantage of to try to create some indecision of the quarterback.
Yeah, so like what I think Rodney's trying to say a little bit, Lawrence, like sometimes if you have a safety blitz coming and then that receiver is in a condensed split, or he's kind of, closer to the end line of the scrimmage or whatnot, he can't sit back there and wait too long, just because he knows that receiver, if he's blitzing on the outside, that receiver is probably his responsibility is to crack him or to block down on him. And you always want to make the corners have to tackle in the NFL. It's crazy that, right now we're worried about Derrick Henry and all that. But when I played, it was Chris Johnson, with the Titans, CJ2K, so even though he didn't have the power Derrick Henry had, we used to have to load the box because we knew if he got out in space and we didn't have enough guys around him, it wasn't a soul in the stadium that was going to catch him, so it was, I remember, playing, and when we were getting ready to, game plan and practicing versus him, coaches was like, look, forget the disguise. I want them to know that, we're in the box. Hey, today or this week, secondary, it's on you. Hey, corner, it's on you. They're going to know we're in one-on-one on the outside or whatever the case may be, like win your matchup. So every time you play some of these games that have these big-time running backs, I mean, offensive coordinators know you better not try to disguise too much and have a person out of position to where he can't, get in the spot to where he has to make that play. So this will be like this. That's what I mean by this will be one of them games. Tennessee is going to know exactly what we're in defensively, and in those type of situations. And sometimes you go into the game and you tell certain positions like, hey, we expect you guys to win your matchup. We like our corners versus their receivers. We like our safeties versus the tight end or whatever the case may be. Like, look, we have to put 8 in this box. Y'all have to win your matchups on the outside. And then you go into the game. If something happened different, you just adjust. You help where it's needed. But going into that week, it's like, nah, Rodney, I know last week I told you to creep down in that box. Nah, this week, go ahead, line up. We got to get you downhill right now. So it's just one of those situations. That's what I mean by sometimes you playing games to where you're going to put on them boxing gloves. They're going to know what you're doing. You're going to know what they're doing. And it's whoever's going to punch whoever in the mouth first to win this type game. That's why the Colts Tennessee matchup is always a good matchup. They know each other. You're not going to trick them. You're not going to fake anybody out. It's just about going out there and physically trying to put your will on them.
Absolutely. Rodney, every team has to deal with injuries, and we've talked about this on multiple times on this about the next man up. Now we know that Kwity Paye is out for a while with that ankle. Last week, I think 65 snaps for Tyquan Lewis. Can you give us some thoughts about the young defensive end?
Yeah, man. Ty is a very versatile guy for us. He's playing inside, plays outside, really a selfless guy, but does it all. Strong at the point of attack, can play the run well. I think, even when you look at that 4th-and-1 stop that we had, he was at the point of attack on that play, getting good knockback, pushback. That force, Trevor Lawrence to have to make the pitch, and speed was there to finish the job. So he's been very effective for us, man, since his return, coming off a major, knee injury last year, I believe, versus the Titans, man. So I know, both of these games mean a lot to him because of what's happened in the past. And he's clicking at the right time, man, and that D line right now is clicking at the right time, to be honest with you. To see the work that they were doing, the pressure they were putting on Trevor Lawrence last week, we're gonna need more of that. Big Grove, man, stopping that run. Those are my guys, and they continue to play the way they do. We're gonna win a lot of games.
Absolutely. Hey, Gerard, watching this game, like this past week, guys are like stepping up, like offensively, like Paris Campbell.
Look, you happy about Paris, huh? You've been waiting for Paris.
I've been waiting for Paris to break out for so. I'm like, good Lord, man, because the offensive. I'm like, you keep sending him out on these deep routes. There ain't time for him to get through that break, because the quarterback ain't got time to hold the ball that long. Get him on some quick crossers and things of that nature. Get him the ball in space. See what he can do, and you've seen it. I didn't know that he had the body control. Oh my goodness. The body control he showed on that touchdown was phenomenal. That's like Marvin Harrison type body control that I saw.
Hey now. That's a high compliment now.
Marvin
Harrison, compliment.
It is. But I mean, Marvin Harrison, my favorite offensive player for the Colts ever. Okay. Over Peyton. All right. So that is a very high compliment even from me. I'm not saying he's on the same level yet, obviously, but the body control
I get what you're saying.
The body control that you saw, I mean, the flexibility, the body control to make sure he didn't get out of bounds and get that arm over, that was just absolutely gorgeous. How important is it going to be for these offensive weapons to be able to get open against this Mike Vrabel-led defense? Oh my gosh, to kind of give our defense, like Rodney McLeod and the rest of the guys, a little bit of breathing room where they don't feel like we got to be perfect every single play.
I just think they just got to keep building. I don't think it necessarily matters who we're playing against, the matchups, or whatever the case may be. I just think as an overall unit, we just got to keep building. And when those opportunities come, whoever it is, whether it's Alec, whether it's Pittman, whether it's Parrish, whoever it is, just make the plays when the opportunity come. And that's what happened with Jacksonville. We'll be having a different conversation if some of those balls was dropped or some of these, receivers are not open at the right moment or whatnot. So I just think we just got to continue to build because this is a young wide receiver core. And I think if they just get better as a whole, it's going to make the offense even that much better. I know we're looking for that one guy to kind of just step up and separate himself, but I'll take having 3-4 just solid, good receivers rather than one good one and everybody else you can't depend on them. So I'll take a solid, just overall group who is just out there, and whenever their opportunity comes, they're cashing in on it. So going into this week, we know the Titans have some legit good corners, good safeties, good linebackers. Like you said, Vrabel's always had a good defense. But I just think they just got to go out there and continue to sharpen that iron and just get better. So even though they had a good game last week, I think going into this week, the whole focus will be we got to be better than we were last week. Just keep building. So yeah. I think it's going to be very important.
I think so. Thank you. Well, I think that's going to do it outside of our predictions for the game. Rodney, I'm not going to ask you to throw down predictions.
Just a dub.
Yeah, just the dub. That's
it.
absolutely. I don't want to feed any kind of stuff to the opposing team to use as fuel. Gerard, what are you looking at in this game? What do you think the final outcome will be?
I'm gonna go. I do think that it's gonna be a lot of clock being ran. Obviously, everybody know when you play Tennessee, if they're running the ball, that clock's gonna be moving, and obviously we're gonna try to run the ball as well. So I do think this game will be like a fast game where it kind of gets over a little quick. But I think some points will be scored from us, and I'm gonna take us having 28 to Tennessee's 17. That's what I'm gonna take. And I'm going to try to be in attendance too, Rodney. If I'm coming, I'm going to hit you up and let you know. But normally I take my boys to this game. We're like 40 minutes from Nashville. So we normally come up for this one.
Yeah, let me know.
Awesome.
I will.
One thing about this game that we really have to take in consideration, they're going to have 2 weeks to prepare for the Indianapolis Colts. This past week was the Titans bye week. So that's going to be a little bit of a extra challenge for the Colts walking into this game. I really do think that both offenses will probably play pretty good in this game. I feel like, as you say, the Colts offense is finally starting to hit their stride. They're finding their pieces on the offensive line. Obviously the quick no huddle, quick pace thing is working really well. But my goodness, I never can count out a Mike Vrabel team when it comes to Derrick Henry or his defense. I think there's going to be points scored as well. I just don't know if it's going to be like super, super high. I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. 24-21.
Okay.
I think it could go either way, honestly, because this is in Tennessee. Let's not forget that either, and on a bye week.
Good crowd. Tennessee fans are normally rowdy. It's always a good crowd in Nashville. So big game.
I love my Colts, but I got to keep it real, So I think it could go either way. So prove me, Rodney, and the rest of the Colts, go out there and get that dub for us, because I'm gonna
need a little more confidence.
That's what I was about to say. I said my 28-17. I said my 28-17 with confidence. Like, come on.
Confidence. Yeah, now 24-21.
Like, we're on back-to-back wins. Ooh. We're playing good ball. Like, you were more confident 2-3 weeks ago than you are now. We're playing our best ball.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of, like I said, we haven't beaten Tennessee in a while. Right. Period.
They swept us last year, huh?
They swept us last year.
Gotcha.
They're on the bye. They're on the bye. They're at home. They've got a lot in their favor. I think our offense will look good. I think this will be a great game to watch. And I think the Colts can win.
Teams coming off the bye week, man, start a little slow. I'm telling you.
Sometimes that rhythm get off.
That rhythm get off a little bit. So, be careful with it. It's working to their advantage. Yeah, they got good rest, but
they got good rest. But it also has a lot to do with coaching, right? Can the coach, get and let's look. Vrabel's a heck of a coach. All right. Frank's a heck of a coach too.
Stop giving Vrabel so much credit.
Champion.
There we go. That's what I was about to say. Like, Vrabel ain't won no bowl yet as a coach, so let's wait a minute for a little bit.
No, you're right. Like I said, I think either team could win this game, though, in my opinion. So I'm looking for a really good, close game, hoping the Colts win. So go out there and get her done. I appreciate that, guys. Yes, I'm not all on that whole, the Colts are going to blow them out this game. All right, sorry. But if they do, I'll be excited about it. All right, because I'm rooting for everybody. All right. I think that's going to do it for this preview of the Indianapolis Colts Tennessee Titans, this upcoming week 7 of the NFL. If you're watching or listening, please don't forget, hit subscribe, download, share to your favorite social media. Make sure you give myself, Rodney McLeod, and Gerard Powers follows on our social media. And this has been Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Do you believe?